Hey guys, it's Hannah. This week I'm going to be transforming my friend Lena's living room into a beautiful modern space. Here we go. This is Lena's living room and it's just a blank space. They've lived here for 5 years and haven't been able to agree on a design until now. We're going to do 2 side-by-side accent walls. So there's going to be a slat wall and then a geometric accent wall. It's going to be super modern and I think it's really going to be unique. So the first thing we're going to do is actually map out their design. I love using painter's tape to map out any design. We've got an image that we're working with, but it's really important to map it out because they're actually going to use these measurements to cut out the squares and the different sizes for their accent wall. The first thing we have to do is paint the wall. So we want to give it a nice crisp coat of paint, and we went with Cyberspace by Sherwin-Williams. There was a little bit of a concern that we didn't want the space to look too dark since we are painting 2 walls this color, but this is a really beautiful color. It has like a blue undertone, so it's not that dark. We ended up painting it with an 18-inch roller, and if you've never used an 18-inch roller, it is like a dream. We painted these entire walls in just 15 minutes, so that's something that you definitely would not be able to do with a regular 9-inch roller. So my recommendation is if you have big walls to paint, always use that 18-inch roller. After we got 2 coats of paint on the wall, we were ready to start with the slat walls. At first, we thought we would actually stain them. So here's the color we got.
Oh wow, that's a really color.
Like dark?
No, like I mean like it's very
Orange?
That's exactly what I should have said. Yes, but instead, here's what I said.
Like it's just like very pigmented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like okay.
I should probably mix it. I don't mind this color actually.
A bit orangey.
It's a bit orangey.
It is a bit orangey, yeah.
Okay.
Lena says, I don't know, Shabir.
Well, how would we?
Yeah, we knew it wasn't gonna be stained that color. We instead decided to just leave it at its natural wood and seal it instead. On to installation. It's time to install the slats, and you want to make sure the very first slat is level. So don't necessarily just like butt it up into the corner and start nailing these on. We need to make sure that it's going to be really level, because if it's not, then that means all the rest of them are going to be crooked as well. So make sure you use a level. Now, unfortunately, this poplar was actually kind of warped, which we were surprised about because it's actually much more expensive than pine. So we just used a bunch of pressure and nailed it into the wall. And I'm trying to just use a few nails here. You don't want to go crazy with the nails because the wood filler never looks as good as actually the natural wood grain. Use a brad nailer. So this is a cordless nail gun, which makes it really easy and really fast to use. There's no air compressor, there's no hose. So we just put 1.5-inch nails in here, and now got the battery, and we're actually just ready to roll. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a mask, it's because I'm actually sick, and friends always protect friends, right? So I didn't want my friends to be sick. Okay, I'm just gonna slow it down and show you how to do one. It's actually really simple, and as you can see, it's great to have an assistant because it goes really fast. I don't know if Kyle should be my assistant or my partner. And so what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you have a spacer. And the spacer just ensures that every single slat that goes in is gonna be equally spaced. You don't wanna be measuring this, that is way too time consuming. So what we'll do is we'll take the slat, you butt it up to your last slat, and then you move the next one in so it's super close and tight, and then you can just nail it in. And you really want to make sure you're pushing with a nail gun so that it gets as flush to the wall as possible, because there's not going to be a stud every time you put a slat on, but by trying to press it up, you're going to try and get a nice tight fit. There. And then we'll slide it down, and then we'll move our spacer up. And you can see how tight this is because the spacer's like not even falling out. That's so tight. Now let's tackle the outlets. The first outlet was going to be really easy to install the slat around. I simply needed to cut where the outlet was going to be. So I marked above and below on the slat, and then I took it to the miter saw and I cut it. So I needed to make sure that it would have a nice fit, and then I simply nailed it onto the wall using the spacer. Lena made me laugh because she'd immediately come out and start vacuuming anytime I made a cut. Isn't that outlet just gorgeous? Tackling the second outlet was a little bit more complicated because it wasn't just going to be a straight cut. This time we had to make a template because the outlet was going to fit right in the middle of two different slats. I marked a template out of paper and then I cut it out, and then I put it against the wall again to make sure the fit was good and just adjusted the size that way. Now when I was making the template, I made sure to also make sure the spacer was there because you want to make sure it's actually going to fit perfectly with the spacer on as well. I did my first attempt on a piece of scrap wood, and as you can see, it wasn't great. I used a jigsaw, but it ended up being cut a little bit too big. So the next time, Shabir tackled it, and he actually cut it a bit small, and then he used P220 grit sandpaper to sand it right to the perfect size. And voila, don't the outlet looks amazing? The outlets were definitely the hardest part, but it's doable even for a beginner. Here's how the wall looks so far. I can't wait to show you part 2 next week, which is when we show you how we create the geometric wall on the other side. It's gonna be super modern and cool. See you then.